isn't it amazing when we say, hey, would you like to lose 10 pounds in 4 or 5 weeks? You can fill a room. It happens all the time. But I want to share with you today some things that are going to not just make you lose weight, but make your energy come back, like it was 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago for some of you. Endless amounts of focus, attention. I'll call it zest. Some people like to say it's bliss. I've had some patients, you guys are going to hear a lot of testimonials today from people who say, I got my life back. I've been everywhere. Some of our patients have been to Duke, Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic. They're searching for answers. They stumbled across either a radio show, Facebook ad. How many of you just listened to my radio show just out of curiosity so I can get a good portion? How many saw us either through emails or Facebooks or notifications just saying, hey, we've got this awesome event, would you like to come? So I see people from all over. And technically in my office, I've had patients from California, Mexico, even outside of the United States, call and say, can you work with me? So you guys have this awesome opportunity. And I'd like to say something real quick. I'm not going to hold back the fact that I believe God's the ultimate one who does all healing. It is not me. While I might be a doctor, I cannot physically reach out. I wish I could and say, Amy, just because I'm Amy, right? Be healed. Now, if I could, real quick, how many more people would be here tonight or today? We have Time Warner Cable Arena booked, every seat in the house, the police, the fire. There'd probably be people trying to even kill us and stuff like that, right? But I want to share some of my belief statements for you. Ready for this? I believe actually today is a divine appointment for you. I believe you're here in the very seat. You sat in this seat, not that seat, for a very specific reason. And each of you have your spot in this room for a divine appointment today. I believe it wholeheartedly. And I know for a fact that there were people who said they're going to come today that didn't. And you know what? That was their divine appointment to not be here today so that you could be here in your seat. Does that make sense? I believe that your body has a greater power inside of it for healing than maybe you give it credit for. Certainly, our healthcare profession gives it credit. And I believe truly that technically you are supposed to be your own doctor. Because this is my radio show and all, I usually say your goal with this, for me to teach you, is for you to take the responsibility for your health so you can apply the principles, sit back and watch your body heal, and your doctor will often say, hey, what are you doing? Because I've had a lot of patients have them meet or have their doctors call me, tell me, what are you doing? What medication are you using? What protocols? How are you pulling this off? Diabetes in this patient's gone after 90 days. They've been a patient of mine for 10 years. What did you do? And it's fun because I said, I didn't do anything. And they're like, you'll explain this to me? So what I'm going to teach you today comes from my pain to now what I call my purpose. Just so you guys know, I haven't been like this saint of health my whole life. I was born in the mid-70s. I grew up in the classic household like this. Ready? When I had a cough, a sniffle, a fever, whatever, we went to the refrigerator, opened it up, and found that pink thing that tastes like bubble gum, and what do we do? Glug, 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 right? That is a antibiotic. We now know today that's the worst thing you should be doing, but I grew up in this culture that said you get sick when viruses and bacteria attack your body. Now I know today that's not the case. Viruses and bacteria do not make you sick. And I know that might rattle some of you. You don't inhale a virus and it somehow ravages your body. What happens is you're already sick and you don't have the capacity to fight off something as simple as a virus particle that's in the air. Look, they're everywhere. They're all around us. So I believe that if I can get inside your head, and you guys allow me to do this, we can implant new truths, okay? As I grew up throughout my younger years, right? And I have a lot of people say, you're young, right? Like, you're really young right now, okay? I'm in my 40s. I've been in practice over 13 years now. I know, right? Still young. Over 13 years. Look, I've been in practice for 13 years. And I've seen close to 40,000 patients and helped them through their health journeys. Only because God took me through my own. Okay? As I grew up, I started getting diagnosed with crazy conditions for my lungs. First, they thought it was asthma. Couldn't breathe. I'd go up a flight of stairs and I'd be winded and passed out. Then, all of a sudden, my heart rate started shooting through the roof. Does anybody know, like, when your heart's beating 200 times a minute, what do you feel like? Anybody? Like you're going to die. Like anxiety through the roof. I mean, you could see my veins pulsing in my neck. And they're like, we don't know where it's coming from. So they put me on medications that would slow my heart rate down. And when my heart rate slows down, what does my pressure do? To compensate. So what do they do to fix that? They put me on both blood pressure medications. Before you know it, watch this. By 19 years old, I'm inhaling corticosteroids Good or bad? Because they kill your immune system. To keep my lungs open, I take 3 rescue inhalers. At night, I hook myself up to a CPAP machine to push air through my nose. And I was a mess. They finally said, we don't know where it's coming from, so it must be some weird genetic disorder, something like that. No one in my family has this. And once they started labeling it, they said, oh, it's an autoimmune. You have sarcoidosis. You have scarring of your lung tissue. The only thing to fix this is more medications, and if you're lucky, we can maybe get a new set of lungs for you. I'm 21 years old, and I'm being told I'm going to have a misery life. Now I get in a car accident, and I go see a chiropractor. This is where my story takes a major turn. I had a lot of neck pain from the accident. I've never had pain before in my life. No pain in my neck, nothing in my back. I go to a chiropractor, and he's like, well, you've been injured from this car accident, and oh, by the way, you have a scoliosis. Your spine is majorly bent. We think that possibly what's going on, since you have all these other health issues, is you've got interference in how your brain communicates to your organs. Now imagine, I'm 20-something years old. I'm studying to become a medical doctor, because where was I my whole life? In hospitals. So I thought like the prestige careers to become a doctor. So I did pre-med. I did 2 years of post or pre-doctoral studies at National Cancer Institute. I wanted to become an oncologist, and it's amazing how God took that path and took me now. Now I help people holistically get out of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, thyroid issues, etc. And weight loss is the side effect of you getting healthier. So I get introduced to this chiropractor. He helps fix my spine, and in 6 months, I'm off all my inhaled corticosteroids. Hey, can we turn the air down a little bit, maybe to like 68? Inhaled corticosteroids gone. No more inhalers. Everything's clear. 2 years of working on my body, cleansing things out. I had my pulmonologist run an annual, they do these checkups on my lungs, and they go, we have no explanation. There's no scar tissue. Your lungs are literally brand new. I think we misdiagnosed you. This never happens. And at that moment, in my head, I heard, you need to now teach people what you just did yourself. I went to chiropractic school. I went to functional medicine school. I went to physical therapy. I spent years studying how to let my body heal itself so that I can maybe teach you how to do it. And here we are today, 12 years later, 43,000 people through my office, which is a half a mile, not even half a mile, 3-minute walk behind this hotel here. And I hope, I pray, my prayer is that maybe you open up and you say, you know what? Maybe I'll think a little different about my health. My theme today is kind of the Apple thing from the 90s, right? Think different, remember that? Okay, I'm hoping you will let me make your brain see your health from a different perspective. And I want you to hear some testimonials. I want you to hear from people who have gone through this so you can get an idea. Like some of them sat here just 5 months ago. I do this every month, and every month is full. I do a dinner every month, and the dinners are full. I do my radio show. We have consults all the time. People are saying, can you please help? And I would love if you would give us an opportunity to maybe say, let's look into it, okay? Now, here's something that I meditate on often. In Romans, in the Bible, it says this: don't copy the behavior and the customs of this world, aka don't do what man does. Do you agree? Instead, what you should do is let the transformation that God will do to you happen by doing what? Changing the way you think. Now, isn't this wild? If you read it this way, like I do, I read it to say God's ready to transform you if you can change the way you think. Once you do that, then you will learn what is His will for you, which is good and perfect. So does He will you to be sick? No. So why are you? Watch out, because you haven't changed the way you think. Is this wild? All you need to do is change the way you think. Now watch what happens. When I say stuff like, hey, your cholesterol is actually too low, I want your cholesterol to go higher, what do you think? Your cholesterol is too low, I want it to go higher. I want to go for 300 total. What do you think? I'm crazy. Because what will happen if you get up to 300 total? Yeah, but you know what? Watch what you guys are going to learn today. Cholesterol is a healing molecule. You have to have it. The reason it's high in the first place is your body's saying, I got to hold you together. It's sticky. It's like glue. So you want your cholesterol to be high when you need to heal, but then when you're healthy, what do you want it to do? But do you have to do that forcibly? No, it'll do what? It'll bring itself back down. Change the way you think. Look at this. Most people think their disease is their condition. I have diabetes, I have cancer, I have heart disease. No, you don't. You have a lack of healing because your body, if healthy, would have what? None of those. So don't claim your condition as something that is you. Because it's not. You're not a diabetic. You're not someone who's overweight. You're not someone with a thyroid problem. You're not somebody with cancer even. You're simply somebody who needs to change how they think about their health and let the transformation happen inside of them. Are you guys okay if I teach you a new way to think about health? Okay, the poet Robert Frost said it this way, right? Two roads diverged in a wood. I took which one? Now let's talk about less traveled. Isn't it common today when people want to get well for their health, where does everyone go? So the road most traveled is to your, but not just to the doctor. What if you guys want to do it by yourself? Okay, if you have high blood pressure and you want to fix it by yourself, what's the road most traveled?
Internet.
Well, Google. You gotta talk about Google. Today, people start there. But what is Google going to tell you to do? If you want to fix yourself, you want to lower your blood pressure, lose 10 pounds, what does Google say to do? Or what does common knowledge say to do? Exercise. And what if I told you that's the wrong thing to do? What if I told you exercise will make you gain weight? Because it does. It does. Ready? And that diet is not the way to lose weight. We need to change our diet. We need to eat well. But you've got to figure out why you're not already losing weight. Does that make sense? If your body is in a state of perfect health, you wouldn't have 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds extra weight on you. You wouldn't have high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, MS, Parkinson's, lupus, thyroid issues, etc. I had a lady email me today. She's like, oh my God, Dr. Ernst, I can't make your event. I'm so upset. I'm in a lupus flare-up. I really wanted your help, but I can't even get out of my bed right now. And she goes, what am I supposed to do? So I emailed her this morning. I was like, I will call you as soon as I finish. We'll figure this out. I've been telling you guys, like, you're in by divine appointment here today. She wanted to be here, but the enemy said, I'm going to hold you back from the truth you need. How can I hold her from that truth? Does that make sense? Now watch, okay? We're going to share some testimonies. This is Rochelle, who wanted to be here today, but with her work schedule and everything else, she couldn't. I want you to hear what she said, because watch this, right? 184 to 142, and that's a year later. This took her 4 months. But listen to what she said when she started implementing what I'm going to teach you guys today. Are we okay for this? Are you ready?
Yes.
Should work.
Hi, my name is Rochelle. Before I met Dr. Ernst, my health was a challenge. I was having difficulty with my thyroid. I had gained over 50 pounds that I could not lose in a 2-year period. I also, for over a year, had swelling in my legs, my ankles, and my feet. All the doctors that I had went to just kept telling me to just take medication, and I knew that there was a better way. There had to be something that I could do other than just have my body pump with medicine. One that could actually tell me what the problem was, instead of what to take. So Dr. Ernst took an approach that I had never seen before. He tested my blood and my urine, my nutritional evaluations, and was able to discover that all of the issues that I was having was due to underlying causes of leaky gut, toxic liver, and nerve interferences that I couldn't feel. He developed a custom protocol, and I met with him monthly, and today I'm here to say that I'm a healthier me. I've lost 42 pounds, and I now have more energy. My skin is clearer than it's ever been. I have more confidence. I sleep better. I no longer have any gut-related issues, no bloating. I just feel wonderful. I can't even describe the change that my body has went through and how much better I feel. Best of all, I know now about health, and also I know how to be my own doctor, thanks to Dr. Ernst and his team. It's one decision you'll never regret.
So who would like, just out of curiosity, results like that? So like 7 of you, that's pretty good. But here's the one thing she didn't say. 4 months, all that weight. She was on a couple medications, no longer. And now here she is. We're up to a year. This is 1 year from when I met her. And we had like a phone consult last weekend. And she's like, it just is amazing because all I do is I keep doing what you taught me, and I've been in this current state of health. I used to lose weight, gain it, lose weight, gain it, lose weight, gain it. And I promise you, Did you hear the 3 things that we found for her? Do you guys remember what they were? Leaky gut, nerve interference, and a toxic liver. If I could say anything to you right now, meditate on those 3. Those are the 3 big interferences that cause not just weight loss resistance, but also any condition you can think of. In your packet, right? I want you guys to take a ton of notes today. In your packet, there is this page that has what looks like a 3-legged stool on it, like this. So we can go 2 ways. Ready? I want you to fill this out and make it personal to yourself, okay? So if you're here today and you're saying, I came because I want to lose weight, maybe you write weight right at the top. And what you're going to do is put the word nerve, gut, toxin. I don't have the ability to write it all out and make it clear enough for you guys. Nerve, gut, toxin, okay? Now, some of you might be here today saying, so I need to lose weight, but I want my blood pressure to get fixed. So you put blood pressure right here, and guess what? Nerve, gut, toxins. Does that make sense? You might have a diagnostic condition that you've been told is something you have to live with. Maybe it's diabetes, maybe it's depression, maybe it's heart disease. Put what you have with your health that you want fixed at the top, because to make it real for you right now is these 3 are the leading interference in what prevents your body from healing by itself. And there's science to back this up, which we'll go through. So there's nothing you couldn't pick that we wouldn't say has a connection to these 3. Does that make sense? Energy. Okay, sleep. You pick what you want, write down, because it'll make it real for you. Now, I see people all the time that come from an event like this, or my dinners, or just come into the to my meetings, etc. This was Beth, and Beth and I had her 5 to 6 month follow-up this week. Beth came to this event in July, and she goes, I need help. Not only am I overweight, she's at 221 pounds, 48% body fat. Just out of curiosity, how much of her body then, if we had to draw a line, like where would the amount of her fat be? Basically about half of her body. So if we could take her apart and put her back together again, 48% of her is fat. Good or bad? Really bad. That's like obesity level bad, right? She's got high blood pressure, high sugars, triglycerides all over the place, and her doctors keep going, yeah, the meds aren't working, we're going to give you more. Then she started having symptoms for the meds and says, I can't sleep, I'm foggy all the time, I don't remember who I am. And so she comes to this event and says, look, if you can help, I'll do it. Like, I will do it. And there are people who say, if you could just show me the way, right? Like some of us will say, all I need is just the way, and then I'll go run for it. I've had sometimes when I do a presentation, I'll say, if I could promise to you that standing up here and doing 55 push-ups without stopping would heal you and make your condition go away, how many of you would be the first person up here doing 55 push-ups? That shows me the kind of person you are. Now, the other person says, huh? 55 push-ups? There's no way. So watch, ready? Change the way we think. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Okay, so be careful. So Beth comes in and says, I want help. Now, this is some metric I'm going to teach you guys about over time, but just watch. We can actually see, if I start teaching you how to change your diet, how to clear neurological interference, how to detox, we'll track and monitor the progress. Guys, that's exponential weight loss. So she's looking at 60 pounds. Never set foot in the gym, didn't do any crazy diets, just let her body heal by itself. If you want this, all you need to do is figure out, okay, what are these 3 things? Because chances are you guys might not know what they are. Or maybe you go, oh, I know about the leaky gut. That's all over the internet right now, right? Yes? Yeah. Everybody's talking about gut leaks and brain health, but I do really know what it is, and do you know how to fix it? That's what I'm going to teach you today. Are we okay with that? Yeah. Do we know about toxicity? I think most of us know we live in a toxic world, yes? Yeah. But did you know that your doctors will never test your toxicity level in blood and urine? You know why? Because their medications make you more toxic. So if they tested your toxicities and they're like, oh, your toxic scores are through the roof, what do we do to bring them down? We don't. So guess why they don't test for it? Because they can't offer you any help. But do you think it's a good idea to find out how toxic you are? Yes. Do you think it's a good idea to identify your specific toxin and then try to get it out of you? So what if I can show you some tests that will do that? The technology today is getting really good. We can actually see how much Roundup, glyphosate, metals, mercury, and organic and inorganic toxins are in your body. So what do we do to get results like this? Do I say, hire a gym trainer, eat rocks and sticks and smoothies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? No. Okay, so just take a deep breath, right? If you think there's no way you can lose 60 pounds in 6 months, change the way you... And now watch this. What did her medical doctor tell her? Ready? What did they say? Beth, you're losing weight too fast. We think there's something wrong. You may have cancer, you may have some disease. They try to freak the living daylights out of her because the medical doctor says you should only lose how much per month? You guys know? What's healthy weight loss? 3 to 4 pounds a month max. You go beyond that, they're going to think you're crazy. Okay? Because what they do know is that the more weight you have, the sicker you are. Now, this is, in my opinion, if you guys are okay with this, the path that most people take. This is the road most traveled. And I want to see if we can invert this and go the opposite way. Wouldn't you agree? Oh, I want to get well. I guess, gosh, I don't need to eat what I want to eat. I need to eat what I don't want to eat. Yes? We'll start there. Okay? Some of us start restricting our diets. We start holding back. And here's a little secret. You actually don't need to eat less. You just need to eat more, less frequently. Let that sink in. You don't need to eat less. You need to eat more, less frequently. Eat more food and you'll lose weight. Please think differently. That's how the body's designed to work. But eat less frequently. Okay? When that doesn't work, what do? We'll sign up for the $19 per month gym thing and we'll go hop on a treadmill and try to burn it off, won't we? Who's been there? Okay? And you'll do it for about 6 weeks and then you're like, I'm actually gaining weight. This is ridiculous. I quit. Then you'll say, well, I'll do the more expensive ones, right? Who does CrossFit? Anybody? I love CrossFit. Anybody? Right? But not cheap, right? Compared to your regular gym. Sometimes 130, 140, 180, depending upon who you go to. And there's nothing wrong with it. But now we're in a big class and they're doing what? They're pushing you harder. They're trying to motivate you. But look, that level of physical fitness is actually designed for you to build muscle, which would make you heavier, but burn body fat, making your percentage drop so your weight stays about the same. So if you're going to lose weight, you're going to get frustrated and go, I can't do this anymore, right? So then we usually start talking to the professionals, yes? We'll go and we'll say, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm tired of the time, I'm brain foggy, I'm forgetful, I got to sleep in the afternoons, I got to take longer naps, I feel like I'm 80, etc. Yes? And what do? Take 2 of these and we'll check up with you. And then you'll say, well, I don't want to do this per se. Maybe I'll go over the counter. Oh, look at that new thing, the commercial, right? You guys see how the commercials are insane, aren't they? Now they have some digital owls saying that if you take this medication, you won't have reflux. You guys see them, the new ones? It's ridiculous. They're trying to push medications down your throat as the answer. But why do we take so many drugs in the United States? Because we haven't changed the way we think about health. We think health is feeling good. If I gave you enough morphine, would you feel good? Of course you would. But does that make you healthy? So I know you guys know this. I know you know. Don't cover up your symptoms, but that's what we're all doing, isn't it? So if I can teach you how to stop, your body will fix itself. Look, when that doesn't work, we'll start running blood work. And when that comes back abnormal, we'll get even more stuff. Maybe it's a surgery. Maybe the doctor starts saying, we don't know. Then we usually start going out to the alternative stuff, right? Yoga, acupuncture, chiropractic, meditation, you name it. Okay? And that stuff is helpful. But the problem is, I like to think then our last resort for most of us is we're like, please God, I don't know what's going on, can you fix me? What if we went the other way? What if we started here, acknowledged the power that's inside of you, then did this, which by the way, I don't think it's an alternative. I think this is the alternative in my opinion. I think you should know how to heal yourself. I think you should know what you need to do to become your own doctor, but who's preventing you from knowing that? A, yourself, because you either don't want to, which is weird, isn't it? Because you'll say you want to get healthy. And then when I show you what to do, you'll say, no, that's not the way I want to do it. Trust me, I've been doing it long enough. Or what will happen is you'll say, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? There's so much information out there. Wouldn't you agree? So all I want to do today is kind of take you through this process of engaging how you're designed to heal. Science is now even backing it up. You guys have the capacity to heal yourself from any condition, even cancer, if you can fix the underlying interferences that you have. That's called alternative medicine. The new term is functional medicine. We make your body function better. You guys heard of this? Okay, so what I'd like to see is, just so I can get an idea of what we're here for today. Show of hands real quick. Who wants to just physically say, I need to lose weight? Like, just so I can get a chance, okay? So like, and if your hand's not up, you're probably lying, right? Because all of us are like, secretly, yes. But, real quick, is there anybody here that's taking a medication for some kind of a condition and like, I would really like that to go away? More maybe than the weight. Like if you couldn't lose weight, but you could get off the med, is that more exciting? Okay, so are we all okay that like, I know you might have come thinking I'm going to show you how to lose weight, but actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to heal yourself, and then your weight will burn off of you as a side effect. That's how we get 60, 70, 80, 100 pounds. Does that make sense? Is there anybody here that has like a specific condition they want me to know about so I can show you and tailor this a bit? Go. Thyroid, okay?
COPD.
COPD, yes. Thyroid, guess what? We're going to hear a lot of thyroid, just so you know. I was thyroid. Okay, real quick, and I'll ask you guys. Do you know this statistically? 90% of what's going on with you is your thyroid. Okay, so more than likely, was yours thyroid?
Well,
No.
I have that, but lower back.
Lower back pain, okay, pain.
Blood pressure.
Blood pressure, blood pressure.
Cholesterol, triglycerides.
Can I say that they're related to blood pressure, but I'll talk about that as well. Cholesterol and triglycerides, yes, yes.
Low back pain.
And thyroid, wow.
And
Okay.
Bad sleep.
Sleep. AFib, heart. Sleep apnea, sleep.
Inflammation. Joint pain.
Pain and inflammation, yes. Thyroid and hypothyroid, right? Yes. UTIs on a frequent basis. And can we also expand that to not just UTIs, but for those of us who get sick too often, like chronic sinus infections, head colds, viral stuff, etc.
Fatty liver.
Fatty liver, big one, we got to talk about that. Depression is another big one. Headaches, another one, oh my God.
I'm sorry, fibrocystic breast disease.
Fibrocystic breast, yes. Okay, now, just because I won't remember the rest of them, I can hold about that much in here. But I promise you one thing. Ready? Let's see if you guys can figure it out. You can put anything you want right here, and these are the 3 underlying causes. All I need to teach you is, well, how is that possible? I had a patient once come up to me, brand new patient. She goes, okay, I understand what you mean. I have diabetes. I get that. I get that all 3 of those can cause my diabetes. I want you to help me get rid of it. But I just have one question. Why is those 3 also thyroid, and why don't I have a thyroid problem then? I mean, it's good logic, yes? But would you agree that if we just break it down, wherever the nerve issues are, because your nerves control all parts of your body, if the majority of your nerve stress is in the middle of your neck that goes to your thyroid, these 2 will kick in and you've got an interfered thyroid, and that's what it shows up as. Does that make sense? If the majority of your nerve stress is to your pancreas, these 2 will kick in and activate lack of healing to the pancreas, so you end up with diabetes. If it's your heart, fibrillations, palpitations, arrhythmias, then it's the nerves in the upper part of your back that go there. What's the biggest challenge when I talk about nerves being interfered with? You can't feel this interference. I'm not talking about pinched nerves that make your hands go numb. That's a major issue. I'm talking about function of the nerves, the communication process. Does that make sense to you guys? So if it's sinuses, it's because it's the sinus nerves. If it's thyroid, it's because it's the thyroid nerves. If it's diabetes, it's your pancreatic nerves. If it's depression, it's because it's the upper cervical vagal nerves, the cranial nerves, etc. You're going to see today how you should be able to, by the time you finish this, go, oh my God, I already diagnosed myself. I figured out what I have, so now I can get it connected, and then you can activate the ability for you to heal yourself. Are we okay with that? Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, so back to just some science here real quick. They've done studies on this and figured out that if you actually do say in your brain subconsciously, I don't think I can lose 40 pounds in 6 months, guess what happens? 97% of the time, it'll be exactly what you say. Which is why Henry Ford was right when he said, if you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're also right. Okay, so the biggest challenge I have for you today is I'm going to say some things, and you're going to say there's just no absolute way. Well, you just sort of sealed the deal that now for you there is no way. I know this is profound. So what I want you to do while you're taking notes is like put a star next to the one you're like, I don't know about that. Because that means you need to focus and meditate on that and figure out how you can reverse that thought. Does that make sense? Let me give you an example. I do this a lot. Ready? The science is clear behind this. Eat a stick of grass-fed butter every day. Whole stick, 8 tablespoons. It's a lot, right? Eat the whole thing raw, cut it into tablespoons, eat it throughout the day. Your energy will be through the roof. You will decrease your cholesterol. Watch. You'll lower your blood pressure, and you'll lose weight. The science is proven all of that. But if I say to you, eat a stick of butter every day, and you're going, no way, you're already doing what everybody does. I'm asking you to say this. Well, Dr. Ernst said if I eat a stick of butter a day, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to take that little thought and try to program so that I get the result from it. But only 3% of people can do this.
Is that true?
It's true. They're actually proven. 100% true. Conjugated linoleic acid is found in grass-fed butter, not corn-fed butter, grass-fed butter. That is an anti-inflammatory. Ghee is just more clarified. It has even higher amounts inside of it. Grass-fed butter. See, I'm just trying to stir you guys and get your excitement up for it. Does that make sense? Okay, now ready? And again? The science says you eat it direct, straight, because it's a pure fat in your mouth. Now listen, okay? I did that just to show you how exciting it should be for you to learn a new thought. And those of you who are getting excited, you're already programming your brain for success. Isn't that cool? But there are still some of you in this room right now that are like, he is crazy. How do I not? Trust me, I know this, okay? So here's what we're going to do. I want to set the expectations. Are we okay? Here's what I want to do today. Hopefully you'll let me do this. I want to change the way you think about your weight and your health. Okay? The first thought that you need to start thinking is this. Okay? Your weight is a reflection of your health. It reflects your health. If your weight is really, really high, you got too much fat, you know, I'll show you guys how you can figure out where you should be. Then what it means is that you are deficient in your health. So as something goes up, it always goes up because your health is going down. Now let me see if you can also play the analogy with me. As your sugars go up, that means your health is going down. But which one is causing which? The lack of your health causes your sugars to go up, or your sugars going up causes the lack of health? Be careful. I know that's the instinct that you want to say. Sugars going up is a result of your health going down. But then here's the trick. As your health goes down and your sugars go up, it makes your health go down. You guys see it? So eventually we start to become a self-feeding cycle. What's the only way to break the cycle? Change which one? Yeah. Now what does medicine say? We'll change this. We'll give you a pill to lower the numbers, and then you'll get healthy. It doesn't work that way. That's why no one is healed by taking a medication for a condition that's chronic. Okay? Nobody ever says, well, hey, I took this lisinopril for like 3 weeks and my thyroid just magically healed itself. No, you're on it usually for the rest of your life. Does that make sense to you guys? So your health is a reflection of everything going on in your body. And it always is going like this. Because wouldn't you agree everything's going up? My triglycerides are rising, my cholesterol is rising, my blood pressure is rising. Everything's going up because your health is going down. Support your health and you'll see everything return to normal. That's the functional way. Are we all okay with that? Okay, so now I want to go over these three things. We've got to talk intimately about these three. Most people know a little bit about each of them, but not enough to actually do something with it. So I want to help you to learn how to fix them. And I need to show you the tests that you should be getting on a regular basis on yourself, either asking your doctor to do it, having someone like me or a functional practitioner do it for you, or seeking out places that you can get them done. Okay? Will your doctor run these tests? Why not? They should. You would think they should, though, right? But they won't, because if they find it, then they have to show you how to fix it. And do they have pills to fix these things? So that's the biggest problem today. Look, I've had people come and say, Dr. Ernst, like, can I just run the blood panel that you want to have run through my MD? I mean, you can try. Okay, I'll give you all the things. There's about 70 different markers that I look for. So you'll take the list to them, and this is what happens. They'll usually go, well, we can do like a third of this, but the rest of this is not part of our panels. And if you demand them to do it, has anybody ever done this?
Yes.
What do they say? No. And your insurance won't pay for it, etc. Now, I'm kind of cocky if you guys haven't figured it out yet. I tell my doctor, I was like, well, I don't care how much it costs. How much is it? And he goes, we don't even know because we don't even run them. Well, then why did you tell me my insurance won't cover it? He goes, well, the insurance will only cover the things we authorize, so it's true, they won't cover it. And I was like, but I want it. And you know what he says to me? You got to go figure out where to get it then. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to connect you guys to some resources. I want to show the triggers that are making you gain weight instead of losing weight. And then, of course, what I'd like to share is, over my 12 years, going on 13 now of clinical practice, how you can reverse your own conditions if you just figure out which of these three you have. Are we all okay if we do that today?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so first, let's just talk about all the lies you've been told about weight loss. Can you start there? Okay, tell me if you would agree. We're being told that we should eat less, we should exercise more, and we should replace what we're eating with less fat and more grains. Okay, for breakfast you should have oatmeal, right? That's a healthy breakfast. It's a Worst breakfast ever. Worst ever. And you'll learn why. Okay? We're told that you should cut back, right? Count your whatever numbers, right? Count your Weight Watchers points. Count your Jenny Craig clicks. I don't know, whatever they call them, right? Count and count and count and make them low as you can, correct? And as you lower them, go work out like crazy, and that's how you lose weight. Would you guys all agree? It's pre-programmed into all of your minds, and I promise you that will make you gain weight, and that will make you get sick. And I'll show you why, and I'll show you what the research says. The first two are absolutely wrong. This is actually now killing more Americans than ever before, and I hate to say it, but you're being lied to about what is a healthy food. Okay? Whole grains today are no longer real grains. They've been modified, they've been sprayed, and they contain a major toxin that is causing your gut to leak, which causes you to become more toxic, which causes your nerves to become damaged. You can eat food and cause neurological damage. So I need to teach you what to avoid, okay? Look at this. I've done this event multiple times. We do it usually every January because everybody wants to lose weight in January. Would you agree? For some reason in June, we're like, I don't really care anymore. January is like weight loss month, right? Okay? When I did this event in 2016, there were 62 million websites on Google, and I use Google because this is where people start, right? 62 million websites on Google in 2016, and it said, go low carb, only eat when you're hungry, eat real food. Again, only eat when you're hungry. Apparently they had to reiterate that. Okay, be persistent. Women should not eat fruits, and men should not drink beer, and you'll lose weight. That's 2016's recommendations, okay? Just first on the list. 2017, now we're up to 88 million websites, right? So we have increased our knowledge, and now it says, oh, no. High protein, avoid fruit juice, drink half an hour before you eat, soluble fiber, do more coffee, chew your food slowly. See how they're changing it year after year after year? Why? Because nobody says it works. So they're like, can somebody give me a new recommendation? 2018, okay, what should you do? Have a better breakfast, prioritize real whole foods, don't eat too much salt. Yes, caffeine can help you to lose weight, so drink more coffee. You know, buy a set of 5-pound weights and do exercises where you put them on your ankles while you walk around, right? Notice, eat spicy foods. Seriously, capsaicin has been shown to make your brain burn more fat. So they're just throwing stuff out, but yet this was yesterday's. Now somebody tell me if you see a trend here. Yesterday's. It went right back to 2016. Avoid beer, fruit, be persistent, etc. What does this one say? Avoid fruit, drink, or avoid beer, be persistent. And we're just rotating on a cycle. This is what I call the merry-go-round of healthcare when you try to become your own doctor. And I hate to say it, Google's even censoring stuff they don't want you to see. Clear out your nerve stress, get rid of your toxins, and clean out your gut. Because if you did it, you would, well, you'd lose weight because you'd be healthier and you would heal. Okay? Now look at this though. How many websites? 800 million. And we, in 2016, only had 62 million. More and more and more and more people are wanting to learn how to lose weight. Did you know this? Write this down. If you have 5 more pounds of fat on you than you should, you are increasing your risks for all of the following: diabetes, heart disease, depression, seizures, cancers, mood changes, retinopathy, neuropathies, etc. All it takes is 5 extra pounds of fat, and your body starts shutting down. Now, I hate to say it, a lot of us have 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 pounds of extra fat. Now, here's what they're saying. Every 5 additional, 5 turn into 10, you doubled this. 5 is now 15, you tripled this. Okay, what happens if you get to like quadruple or quintuple or whatever, right? It's almost 100% chance. They're now actually saying today that they can detect how much cancer likelihood you have based upon how much fat you have in your body. If you're obese, 40% more likely to develop cancer. Okay, so it's a big deal. We need to lose weight, but we need to stop chasing after weight as our symptoms, and we need to focus on our health instead. That's my take home for today, okay? So if you're here, like with all these conditions, you guys are set free from them. And if you didn't know one way to find out if your health is starting to slip on you, this is what generally starts to show up for most of us. Would you agree? I'm having a hard time remembering stuff and I feel like I'm in a fog. Okay? That's usually where it starts. We're like, I don't know, I just don't feel myself. And then we start going, well, no matter what I do, I can't seem to lose weight. In fact, I'm gaining weight even though I'm doing everything right. And then it starts to go down the list of like, I'm not sleeping very well, right? Many of you said I'm having difficulty sleeping. Then for women specifically and for men, it's the hot flashes. Then we start getting cold all the time. Anybody? Like where it's like, 80 degrees and you're wrapped up in a blanket with a heater going by your feet, right? That tells me your health is on the decline. Now your doctors would say, it sounds like your thyroid. They'll run a thyroid test and if it's normal, then what do they say? Well, it's in your head. Here's an antidepressant, okay? And then it goes down to depression. This is a big one, okay? If you're losing the outside of your eyebrow, that's an indication of an autoimmunity starting to kick in and your body's becoming sick. Most people don't know that and they'll never look for it. Joint pain, back pain, neck pain, etc., headaches. If your nails are breaking all the time, if your nails aren't growing very well. Ladies, if you've gotten like a pedicure and in like a month you can still see it's pretty new looking, not that it hasn't chipped, but that it hasn't grown out, it's a sign you're not very well. Your nails should be growing like crazy. You should be trimming them every week. Every week. Of course, we start to back up. We don't want to do anything that's fun, and so on and so forth. Make sense? So what I want to talk about is this. Stop looking at your health as counting things, an equation, etc. Watch out for the idea that most of us think we're not supposed to eat fat. We should avoid it like the plague, because that's a big problem. The less fat you eat, the worse you get, okay? Why is it not a good idea to count calories? Because I get a lot of people asking me, they're like, well, how many calories am I supposed to eat? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. That doesn't make sense to me. Can you do 5,000 calories and lose weight? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Now, all a calorie is by definition is how much energy, watch, it takes to raise a 1 degree rise in a kilogram of water, by 1 Kelvin. So how much heat does it take to increase the temperature of water by 1 degree? That's what a calorie is by definition. So when they calculate calories on a food item, what they're doing is they're physically burning the food. So they torch it, and they find out how much heat came off the food. Does this make sense? Now I'm going to ask you a question. Some of you guys go lost. How they count calories, like if this is a Twinkie and they say how many calories are in this, is they literally light it on fire, and as it's burning, they measure how hot the food is. Things that are high in calories burn a lot of heat, so they'll be hot. Now watch this. There is 0 biochemical processes in your body that start with a calorie. We produce heat. We don't absorb heat for energy. So the calorie counting thing is a complete 100% farce. They mean absolutely nothing for nutrition. Because watch, can you have a Twinkie that has 100 calories and have half a cup of macadamia nuts that has 100 calories? So what's the difference? This one's really toxic, has a lot of bad fats in it, but it will produce the same amount of heat. You can see the difference? We need to focus on what's in the food, what it's made of, instead of how much heat it gives off. But the problem is, everybody goes, well, this is low calorie, so I will eat a lot of it, right? Or now it's getting like this. Well, it's gluten-free, it's non-GMO, it's vegan, it's kosher, it's whatever, and so because those are cookies, I'll eat more of them. Okay, so be really careful. Stop. This should set some of you free. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to count points. You can eat a ton of food as long as you eat less often, and your body will lose weight and it'll thank you and you'll heal. Okay, so look, it's not about the fact that you're just too lazy and you're not burning yourself hard enough, right? This should set some of you free. You don't have to go to the gym and do 5 times workouts, 6 days a week, etc. for half an hour. Okay, you guys should be able to get healthy without having to do anything strenuous, okay? But that's what we're being told. Here's the science behind it. They actually did this at, I think it was Arizona State. Okay, so Arizona State, they took a bunch of men and women and put them on treadmills and on their bicycles and all stuff, and they let them run and run and run and run and run, and they found out, wait a second, you're actually gaining weight. You're not losing weight. So then they went and actually published this, and they said, like, we have literally massive amounts of weight gain, up to 37% variance in fat mass, and it hit the mainstream media and said Arizona State found that women, specifically, it happens more in women than men, that run on the treadmill for 12 weeks didn't lose a single pound, in fact, gain it. Why? Can somebody tell me why? No, it had nothing to do with muscle mass. It has to do with this. Long, low-intensity, strenuous workouts, running on a treadmill, getting on a bike, makes your adrenal glands secrete cortisol more than it should. Cortisol is a stress hormone, which makes you save body fat. Because what your body's doing is this. Why are we doing this? This is insane. We are not designed, literally, listen, we are not designed to run for long periods of time at low speeds. Our bodies are designed for short distances at high speeds. Like running from a tiger, a bear, a lion, a dinosaur, whatever. You understand? We're not designed. You're physically not designed to get on a treadmill and run for an hour. If you're doing it, you're increasing your cortisol secretion, which increases your stress, which makes you store fat for the long run. And because you think you're in your fat-burning zone, which doesn't exist, you guys keep doing it, and then you get frustrated. I promise you, stop working out the way you're working out. Now, what if we talk about foods, right? Today, it's very popular for people to say, well, I don't want to eat a lot of fats. I just use butter as an example. But think of it like this. If you had the option of buying a full-fat, can of whatever, milk, and you have the low-fat, or it's yogurt or whatever, be honest with me. What do you guys typically pick? Say we're programmed to go low-fat, right? But that's the very thing that's making us gain weight, because when you take fat out of food, what do you have to put in it to make it taste better? And flavorings and chemicals to make it taste that way. Now here's the thing. Between these two, did you guys know that this makes you gain more weight than that does? Bread products, wheat products, rice, corn, soy, and oats make your body inflamed, and they cause damage to the membranes. Watch this. This is a graph of the amount of money that we spend in various countries on healthcare. And there's a reason that something happened in 1980 that has caused the majority of countries to increase healthcare expenditures for disease. Now, who's winning this race? Sadly, we are, right? We spend more than any other country. Now watch this. These are the obesity rates in the United States. And when did it all start kicking in? Pretty low, pretty low, pretty low. 1980, what started happening? Now hold on. 1980, what started happening? So is it the obesity that's causing us to spend more money? No. Watch this. In 1976, 1980, the USDA changed the guidelines for how much fat we should eat, said eat no fat, and then look what started to happen. The government said eat more grains, eat less fat, and you'll be healthy. You know why they did this? Because they actually knew that it was going to do this. They knew that it would make you sick. They knew that it would increase healthcare expenses, because who is the number one money provider for the U.S. government today? You guys know? Who spends more money and gives the U.S. government more money than any other industry in the United States? Pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies fund the majority of our state senators, et cetera, the government. So can we create disease? You guys, it's going to get sick when I show this to you. There is actually a company in the United States that did all the research for it, figured this out, and created a product to put onto the foods that they told you to eat. They said, well, why don't we put this product in here, and it'll make them even fatter, make them even sicker, and it's a US-based company. Does anybody know who it is? By chance? We'll talk about it. Yeah. Okay, now listen, real quick. Some of you are going to go, this high-fat diet thing is like insane, because my cholesterol is going to go through the roof, I'm going to have a heart attack, etc. Correct? But yet, guess what the science says? Your cholesterol is not causing your heart to shut down at all. Look at this quote from the guy who wrote The Great Cholesterol Myth with a bunch of medical doctors. He said, if you blame cholesterol plaquing for heart disease, it would be like blaming a fireman for the fire. Think about that. Cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Now again, you should put a star next to this, because you guys are going to believe the opposite. Cholesterol does not cause heart disease. What causes heart disease is the inflammation and the nerve damage and the toxicity within the heart tissues. Now watch, your body in its infinite wisdom trying to heal itself is doing what? Elevating your cholesterol to do what? Try to heal the damage and the inflammation within your heart. Where cholesterol piles up is where you have damage to organ tissues. Now your doctors will say, well, my God, this is going to block the arteries, and you're going to have a heart attack. What they now know is this: it's blocking the artery because it's trying to shut off the blood flow to the area to let the artery repair, and then once the artery repairs, the cholesterol will leave and the flow is restored. Did you know that? It actually will do that. You will see collateral arteries grow around so the blood flow will be unobstructed. It's like when a traffic jam happens and the cops say, okay, go this way, detour, go this way. Would we then remove the people who are repairing the road, or would we let them do it, drive around them? I promise you, your body's trying to heal itself at all times. So if your cholesterol is high, as a functional practitioner, you know what it makes me say? I need to figure out where you are not healing. And if we can figure out where you're not healing, support that area to heal, your cholesterol will do what? By itself. And what will happen to your weight? And what will happen to your blood pressures? Who wants that? You need to read. If you need to read because you're like, I still don't believe you, fantastic book. You guys will never look at your heart the same if you do this. Ready for this? When we took all the fats away, right, like lard and butter, etc., what did we put back? Vegetable-based fats, didn't we? Okay, so can't believe it's not butter, the margarine spreads, all this stuff, and everybody was like, oh, this is so healthy for you, it's so good. How many of you actually do still use today canola? Just show of hands, perhaps. Okay, when you go home, throw it away, burn it, get rid of it. Literally, most toxic oil on the planet for your health. They show it shuts off your thyroid, number one. Number two, it inflames your cell membranes, meaning that the cells in your body that are trying to heal you, we have a fat membrane around every cell in our body, and what happens is the fats you eat become this membrane. Does that make sense? So inside the cell is your DNA. Do you think it's a good idea that your DNA should be excreting proteins and things properly?
Yeah.
Yes. Your cells produce toxins as waste and they have to come out. So what happens if this membrane is now made of a vegetable oil that was never designed to be in the human body because we man-made vegetable oils? What do you think happens to the membrane? It becomes destroyed, but not destroyed to where the cell dies. It actually becomes so thick and inflamed the toxins bounce off and go, I can't get out of here. Now watch what happens to a cell inside as the toxicity levels increase. Its function goes down and you get sick and you go to your doctor and they give you, now watch, that medication is swallowed and is put on the outside of the cell, yes? And so what happens is those toxins get attracted to the fats that are fake, and so now you layer toxicity on the outside, and so then oxygen, nutrients, water cannot get. Now in the brilliant wisdom your body has, it's going to shock you, what does the cell do? No, it adapts and becomes precancerous because a cancer cell can live without oxygen, water, and can live with toxicity. Oh, wow. Did that just crack your skull? So how do you fix all of this? No, it's watch, right? It's 5 steps. Identify what's going on, remove the interference, replace what you're deficient in, reestablish connection, and let the body repair. It's I4Rs. That's what I do. That's what I teach. I4Rs. Identify the interference, remove that interference, replace it with what it was supposed to be, reestablish the connections, which I'll talk about, and the body will repair. It will repair. Now, what does the science say behind this? Look at this. 2009 Harvard study said if you consume vegetable oils, you get worse atherosclerosis. This is what makes your areas get all clogged up, not cholesterol. Vegetable oils clog your vessels. Vegetable oils clog your cells. They did another study and said, you know what? If we get people to eat lots of saturated fats, which are things like coconut and avocados and butter that's grass-fed and grass-fed meats, what happens? Reversed. Now, aren't you told red meat causes heart disease? Yes. That's true if it is corn, soy, wheat-fed. If it's grass-fed, the way God designed animals to eat, then it actually reverses disease. Go figure. If it's corn-fed butter, what does it do? Causes disease. If it's grass-fed, what does it do? Reverses disease. These are naturally plants, so they'll do it for you every time. Now, how many of you saw the articles where it was going all over? These medical doctors were saying, this stuff will kill you. Anybody? You know what they said? Well, the reason it will kill you is because when you eat coconuts, your cholesterol goes up. And it'll give you a heart attack and you'll die. Now, why would your cholesterol go up when you're eating coconuts? Somebody help me. The more coconut you eat, the more you replace the damaged membranes, and the cholesterol says, I got to get in here, it's sticky, I got to clean up all the toxins. Your cholesterol will temporarily go up when you start eating this stuff. Your doctor will freak out, and if you don't know truth about health, you will freak out too and you'll quit. You have to go through the rise to come back down to the valley. You need someone to coach you with it. Yes?
A quick question. When you talk about coconuts, are we talking about just full coconuts? What about the stuff they said about drinking coconut milk?
So it's the whole idea. Coconut milk, coconut flakes, coconut oil, all the above. Everybody's like got a vendetta against coconut because they claim it's all saturated fats, and the saturated fats cause heart disease, and that you'll die of a heart attack if you eat too much coconut. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but is the coconut oil then good? The coconut drink?
All of it is fantastic, but you have to understand, will it make your cholesterol go up? Yes, temporarily, but now when you look at the science, which cholesterol is going up? HDL or LDL? HDL. Now what is total cholesterol made of? HDL, LDL, VLDL, etc. If HDL goes up, what happens to total cholesterol? And your doctor's clueless because they only look at the total. And that's all they care about. So be really careful. These are the ones I would say you should focus on eating if you want to fix the cell membranes, right? Now, olive oils are fantastic, but you should never, ever, ever, ever do what to olive oil? Don't heat it up ever. Never, ever on a pan put olive oil in it. It will trans fat and oxidize. It now becomes a bad fat that will damage the membranes. Avocado and coconut can be heated, so these are good cooking oils. Do you want to heat a nut oil, walnut, almond, etc.? Yes or no? No. There's only two oils you heat, avocado and coconut.
Okay.
All the other oils should be kept at room temperature or less. If you heat a nut or seed, chia, flax, hemp, if you heat them, they become oxidized trans fats, will damage the membranes. See, if you don't know, you'll think you're doing everything right and you'll get sick. I didn't say it once more.
Peanut oil or sesame
Same
oil.
thing, you don't want to heat them up. The only oils to heat up are avocado and coconut. If you heat up peanut, if you heat up sesame, if you heat up anything, they become oxidized trans fats, very dangerous. Butter, cheese, etc., yogurt needs to be grass-fed, clean, hormone-free. And can we get fats from meats and eggs and fish and things like that? Yes, but you got to be careful. Don't eat farm-raised, which means they're literally growing in tanks. They throw corn to them. No joke. They throw a corn-based feed to the fish because when corn and animals and stuff, when pigs and chickens and turkeys and goats and all that stuff eat corn, what happens to them? You get fat, you buy them by the... Now watch, what happens when you eat corn and soy and rice and wheat and oats? You get fat, but nobody tells this to you. Okay, it's an industry secret. They do this to make them weigh more, but we do it because we think, well, it's all healthy for us. Corn, rice, wheat, soy, oats, etc. So I want you to hear from Jennifer. Okay, my station, WBT, our sister is 107.9 The Link. Anybody know of them? Okay, she pulls me aside in the hallway once. I'm there to record, and she goes, "Oh my God, Dr. Ernst is here!" And she goes, "I've been wanting to talk to you." She goes, "But I work in the evening, 7 to midnight, not when you're here." And she's like, "Today, of all days, they have me scheduled to replace Kelly, who does the 11 to 4 hour." And she's like, "I think this is divine appointment." And I was like, "It is by definition." Hang on one second. And I said, because if you need to talk to me, this would be the only way it would happen. Does that make sense? I'm never at the station between 7 and midnight. So this one day she pulls me aside and she goes, "I don't understand. I'm a vegetarian. I eat like crazy good foods. And I'm gaining weight like insane amounts. And I'm forgetful. I'm having all these symptoms. Nobody can figure it out because I have the best diet on the planet." I said, "I bet you don't. What do vegetarians eat a lot of?" Well, they eat a lot of corn and soy and wheat and rice and oats and all that kind of stuff. So I said, "Look, if you want to figure something out, get connected to my office, we'll run some tests, etc." She ended up coming to an event, sat through this just like you, and went, "Oh my God, like nobody's ever talked like this. I want to meet with you. I want you to run tests, blood, urine, this, that, the other." Listen to her testimonial. It's going to transform the way you feel.
Jennifer Steele here with 107.9 The Link. I want to tell you about my experience taking the road less traveled with Dr. Ernst. And what I mean by that is I came to Dr. Ernst grossly overweight with a back bent the wrong way and craving sugar constantly to the point where I was having a pint of ice cream. I'm going to be nice about it, maybe every other day, sometimes every day. So that's where I was at. Sugar cravings, high carbs, and I'm a vegetarian. And overweight. Did I mention that? Yikes. Well, when I came to Dr. Ernst, I had already gone through programs prior, Weight Watchers, blah, blah, blah. They all work, and I've always said they work if you work them. But what was different coming to Dr. Ernst is he addressed my exact needs through blood work, urine analysis. He is a man of science. He took a look at who I was, what was going on, the calcium in my thyroid and my bent back and just my body in general not functioning the way it could be. And with that, I did not get a one-size-fits-all approach. I got a custom plan made with Dr. Ernst, with his scientific knowledge, and I'm another person. I sleep well, the weight released quickly, and not too fast. I shouldn't say like it was an overnight sensation. No, I wouldn't want it to be. Released, I guess, at the right time. Took me a few months to get down to where I really was comfortable. My body's at its natural point. My spine is almost straight, and this is X-ray. I'm not making this up. I'm feeling great. I love Dr. Ernst and his movement, his philosophy, his scientific know-how, his knowledge, and how everything is incorporated. This is a holistic approach. This is not just cutting down the calories. This is eating the proper way for me, for my body to thrive. And that's what I do. I thrive now. I am grateful. I wouldn't trade my experience for anything. I love my life, and I love not craving sugar anymore. And I love having energy and sleeping well and feeling good and seeing. I'm holding my camera right now, so that's why I might look a little lopsided. But to look in the mirror and see my shoulders line up is also a beautiful thing. So take the road less traveled. Don't just, this is my recommendation in my opinion. A nutritionalist, yes, they're knowledgeable. A doctor, medical doctor, maybe he's had a few hours of nutrition in his studies. But Dr. Ernst is the best of all worlds. This is a holistic, he'll address every part of your body that needs addressing, and you will thrive as well. So join me in the road less traveled. It's a beautiful journey. Take care. Bye.
You can tell she's got the radio personality, right? So here's what was exciting. She's like, I lost weight, but I didn't lose weight too fast. Again, I'm going to teach you guys about this metric we use, but 165 when I met her, that's literally 2 months and losing almost 15 to 20 pounds. She had a little hiccup that we got her through, and then she started losing more weight, 143, and she's going like, this is wildly different way of looking at my life. Did you hear how she said, like, we found some calcium in her thyroid. She had a thyroid problem, didn't even know it existed with her body because she never got the right testing done. Sometimes what you need to do is just take a small peek and, again, identify, and that's what I want to help you with. How do we identify these 3 things? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's what we're going to get into now, okay? So of the 3, what I teach and believe is the idea that they have to become balanced. Think of it like this. I use the 3-legged stool analogy because if you stand on a stool with 3 legs, it's rather stable, yes? But the moment you take one leg away and you try to stand on it, what happens? Well, it's a lot harder. If you've got really good balance, you wouldn't. But a 1-legged stool, that's tough. Would you agree? Yeah. Now, this is what I teach behind this, okay? Most people will put all of their energy into just trying to fix one thing. If you want to fix your digestive system, usually most people change their diet, right? Start to eat supplements and things like that. But then they ignore the fact about toxicities or neurological stuff, so they'll only get a little bit well. Some people focus only on one side. So if you need to discover how to unlock your healing potential, my recommendation would be figure out which of these is the worst. Start there. Does that make sense? Start fixing that because you will build support. Then focus on the others. And for some of you, you need to do all 3 of them. I've had some patients come in and we do neurological tests. It's perfect, but these 2 are off track. So we show them, okay, here's what you need to do for your gut. Here's what you need to do for detoxing. They start going through it. Boom, they start healing. I've had some people come in, they pass with flying colors a toxicity test, but their nerves and their guts are a wreck. So what if they went to Whole Foods and bought the 21-day juice detox? What would happen? Nothing. So the biggest and most important thing is you must identify. So I want to show you how we identify things like neurological dysfunction or leaky gut, etc. So Hippocrates is the father of medicine. Would you agree? So he has a quote quite famous that says, we should look to the spine for the cause of disease. Now most doctors who are Hippocratically sworn in, interestingly enough, right, don't do this. Okay, so how does this work? Every single organ in you is neurologically connected with a wire to your spine, and then to your brain. Now, your spine is not just the bones that keep you upright and give you back pain and things like that. It's a protective barrier. The spine itself has a small hole inside of it that lets the spinal cord and the nerves come through. So if you have irritation or interference here, which how many of you have this, where you're like, oh, you know, just, okay, right here, watch this. Irritation, pain, discomfort across your neck and shoulder are the very nerves that go to your heart and your lungs. So what if what you're feeling is not a tight muscle, is not stress from sleeping wrong, is not you sat at the computer too long, but is actually an outward expression of your body saying, hey, wake up! The nerves are interfered with. I'm going to send pain to where it is so you will feel it and you'll do something about it. But a lot of us are just like aspirin and it's gone. Okay, so each level of your spine controls different regions. A lot of us have thyroid problems, that's the center of the neck, and a lot of you will say, yeah, you know, there's something wrong with my neck. Okay, so every square inch of you is mapped out. I'd like to think that if you can understand this analogy, your spine is basically a fuse box. Okay, so somebody tell me, where is the alignment issue in this person's household, and what are we going to do to fix it? Where is it?
Right there.
Okay, so you can see it because you can visibly see the alignment issue, yes? What do we do to fix this problem? Somebody help us. How do we fix? I mean, come on.
Reset it.
We have to go, and then it'll stay in its alignment. Now the reset reconnects the electricity to wherever it goes. Real quick, if that's your dryer, is there anything wrong with the dryer? Okay, now this is going to really shock your world. Does that mean then there's anything wrong with your heart? Your thyroid? Your pancreas? Your kidneys? Nothing's wrong with them. Write this down because you guys are going to argue with me. There's nothing wrong with them, but your doctor wants you to think it's the organ that's falling apart. No, what's wrong is you're losing connection. Now, you're not an on-off switch, thank God, right? Because if you accidentally slept sideways and you turned off your heart nerves, you would not wake up. Thank God you have like a sliding scale, right? You guys know those little rheostat things for your lights where you can like dim them? And here's what happens for most of you. You're living at like 30, 40, 50, 60% neurological power, and you think that's the way it's supposed to be. If you've ever had a chiropractic adjustment that's real, not a pain-based one, but one where they increase function, and you're like, what just happened to me? Like, anybody? Okay, when you go to a real chiropractor, you'll feel it. And you'll go like, I don't know, like those shoes are now neon blue. Like, how is this happening? Okay, because your body's function is increasing. Okay, so can we identify and find alignment issues? Yes. Now again, remember, every single bone in your body is a switch. So those of you who said, I got thyroid problems, Dr. Ernst, I want to fix my thyroid. What I do first is I go and I look at your 7th cervical nerve. I check its functionality. We look at the position on x-rays. We find out if the nerve is healthy. And if it is, I go like this. Okay, your problem is not neurological. It has to be gut or toxins. We'll run blood and urine. We'll find it and we'll fix it. Make sense? Now, if you're going, well, I have like kidney issues, then I would be looking here. You guys have this in your paperwork. Okay, it's like $1 million map. Because if you have an organ issue, it will show you where you would have to then have spinal issues. Because if you've been diagnosed, what does that tell us? The communication's been off for years then. Does that make sense to you guys? So what do we do to find it? Well, first of all, if we're going to look at like your back, if you say like, my back hurts, my hips hurt, my legs hurt, this hurts, that hurts. Okay, what it should look like on an x-ray, with you sitting down, not laying down, not standing, but seated, to take your legs out to get the weight directly onto your spine, we look to see if you're completely straight. Would you guys agree? Each bone is stacked one on top of each other. Yes or yes? Yes. The discs in between, are they the same space left to right? Yeah, mostly. Would you agree? Yes. So the nerves come out right here and right here. So this nerve is completely clean. So is that one and 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 that one. This is perfect. Okay, now help me with this. You guys diagnose this. What's the problem? Okay, is there nerve damage in this person's low back?
Yes.
Okay, what if they don't feel it? Still happening. Now watch this. Came into me, no low back pain at all. 0. But has a leaky gut. Can you see the gut?
Yeah.
That's what a leaky gut looks like on x-rays. And has type 2 diabetes and says I need help. And I went, you have neurological damage, you have a gut leak, and whoa, lots of toxins. What do? We straighten the spine, we clean the gut out, remove the toxins, and the body does what? 90 days, no longer diabetic. What about this one? Is it nerve damage?
Yes.
Now here's the crazy thing. She has a lot of pain. But the angle is smaller. More nerve damage, no pain. Less nerve damage, lots of pain. You know what that tells me? It's been this way for a long time. Didn't even know though. Been going to chiropractors. Now watch, ready? Who's been to a chiropractor before? Just real quick, show of hands. How many? Wow. That's the whole room. 10 years ago when I did this, guess what? Most people are like, you go to a chiropractor, don't they lay you on your side, have you cross your arms, and they go like this, right? And then what do they do right after that? Somebody tell me. They flip you to the other side, don't they? Now, help me with this, okay? If I adjust this person to the right, and I adjust them to the left, where did I just put them? Really, really careful who you let adjust your back. Even chiropractors, I hate to say it, I'm a chiropractor. A lot of chiropractors don't know what I talk about. If you go crack, crack, yes, it released, yes, it popped, yes, you will feel better. Because the science says you release an endorphin that's equal to morphine for about 30 minutes and you're going to feel like bliss. But then what happens? It comes back because you didn't fix the alignment. What I do, guys, just to show you, if you come in, if you let me do this, I'll take an x-ray, I'm going to show it to you, I'm going to adjust you once, and then I'll re-x-ray it and I'll show you the improvement. And if it improves 50, 60, 70, I've seen 100%, one visit, boom, 100% change, then I can show you how to heal it permanently. It's much different than regular chiropractic, okay? There's technology, we can go and scan your back with a thermogram. What does it look for? Heat, swelling. We can run a scan and I can say, okay, low back nerves are good, 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 good. Whoa, where is this? Neck shoulder, what am I thinking instantly? Neck shoulder is heart. Thyroid is in the middle, so there's thyroid nerves. We gotta talk about this guy though. This is the master nerve, vagus. Okay, you should guys write this down. Vagus, master nerve. It is technically cranial nerve number 10. It is the master nerve for your body. Cranial nerve 10, 10, vagus. It's called the vagus nerve because of this word called vagabond, which means a wanderer. And so scientifically they said, God, the vagus nerve goes to every single cell in the human body. It's the only nerve that goes to all of you. Okay, so think about this. The middle back goes to your heart and your lungs. Your low back goes to your kidneys and your intestines. Vagus nerve goes everywhere. Which one would you not want to have neurological problems with? Hopefully it makes sense. This person has majority nerve stress on their vagus nerve. Comes to me because they have an autoimmune condition called lupus, which I take care of a lot of, and said, can you help? And I went, oh my God, yes, nerve damage. Now guess what? How many people connect vagal nerve issues, neck issues, with even things like numbness and tingling in your foot, toenail fungus, kidney issues, autoimmune conditions? Most people know. But do you now see, because the nerve goes everywhere, if you're interfering with the nerve, you interfere with communication. You guys get that? Okay, so how do we look at the vagus nerve? From the side, you're supposed to have a curve in your spine. We're looking up at the top, the skull, the face, everything. You guys see right here? That's open. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, if they close together, the vagus nerve gets interfered with. Your skull is supposed to be centered so that your neck receives the weight of your head. Not this, which is the floor receives the weight of your head. It is supposed to be back here. Now, how many of you, out of curiosity, know the curve angles in your neck? Anybody? Okay, I know mine. This is mine. I just had it done last week. I check it every single year. Because if I go, whoops, 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 I let my chiropractor, Dr. Forrest, adjust me. He's my associate, works in my office. I'm like, hey, immediately get that thing off. Fix it. That's how I am. Why? Because I know it goes everywhere. Okay? You need to have at least a 40 to 45 degree curve in your neck. You need to have your skull over your neck, and you need to have the vagus nerve open. Okay, now watch. Diagnose somebody. What's wrong? Where's the head? In front of the shoulder, in front of the chest area. Where's the neck? Is he curved?
No.
Is the vagus nerve open though?
Yeah. No.
Well, yes, relatively. So this person doesn't have major vagal nerve damage, so we don't go, oh my God, your whole body's shutting down. We go, wow, look at the middle. Look at the mid-neck. Look at the discs through here. Middle neck goes to thyroid. That's a thyroid patient. And she goes, my God, how come nobody's ever talked to me like this? This is what I do. Okay? Is the vagus nerve compressed?
Yes.
Ah, a lot. Would you agree? Like a lot. And what's also going on? That's the opposite direction. Okay? I highly recommend that you let somebody who knows how to read an x-ray take a look at your neck. Okay? I'll do it for you if you want. I'll even give it to you guys as a gift. There's basically no cost to get an x-ray. If you bundle it into one of my packages, I'm going to teach you guys in about a minute. I give a lot of stuff away. And actually, I end up paying for a lot of your tests. You guys will find out I'm going to pay for tests for you. Who's okay with that? Listen, God blessed me years and years. Love it. I love what I do. I don't have to work a day in my life if I didn't want to. I could retire tomorrow and never have to worry about anything. Okay? His blessings to me, I like to say thank you. You know what I'm supposed to do with blessings, though? Because you know what happens when you do that? More! No, more! And so then I can do more. Okay? Eventually, you see, we're going to have 200 people at this event. And then we'll have 500, then we'll have 1,000. And I'll be paying for thousands of people's worth of stuff. And in order for me to do that, I have to have more. Not for me, but for you. Okay? Sarah Sarah came to an event that I did for thyroid. And I just want you guys to hear it. This one's short. It's like a minute. Okay? Are we okay?
Yeah.
You guys all right?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Sarah. I'm excited to share a little of my story with you today because about 6 months ago I was you. I had heard about a seminar my husband found on the internet about thyroid issues and are you struggling and haven't received any help, and that was me. I was diagnosed with thyroid issues about 20 years ago and I started Synthroid and it was fairly manageable most of my life, but about 3 years ago, I hit a wall. I was exhausted all the time. I couldn't get through the day without sleeping. I couldn't think clearly, couldn't communicate, which is very uncharacteristic of me. I was struggling also with some severe anxiety and depression, also very uncharacteristic of me. And I was starting to feel fairly hopeless. I remember going to Walmart one time, and after I did my grocery shopping, I had to sleep for 20 minutes in the car before I was awake enough to drive home. I went to the doctor and said, what is the deal? I can't function. And they upped my medication, and they gave me an antidepressant, and nothing was helping. So when I heard about the seminar and I came and heard what Dr. Ernst had to say, honestly, I thought, this can't be right. It's too simple. And yet this idea that our body is very complex and there are a lot of systems that have to work together made a lot of sense. He did the most thorough assessment of my health that I've ever received. And after seeing my deficiencies and toxicity levels and things that were out of line and that needed adjustment, I started on a treatment plan. And within 3 weeks of adjustments, I started to wake up. And within a month or two of being on the nutrition plan, I began to feel like myself again. And I can't tell you how exciting that was. I'm now through the treatment, the initial treatment plan, and I'm awake and I feel wonderful. I have a lot of energy. I lost 20 pounds, which was a lovely perk. The whole thing has been challenging but totally worth it. So I'm here today to say, listen well, and if I can give you any encouragement, it's to trust this process and know that it can give you your life back. So,
you guys feel it in her when she's talking about it, right? Have you ever gone that, like, you know, where I feel like I'm falling apart, tired, etc. And talk to our doctors, and they're like, you know, like we have nothing left, more meds, antidepressants, etc. I'm telling you, you can get the right tests done. Okay, I'm going to start teaching about tests now. This test here tells us A, how much you weigh, B, where your weight is. I know it's a little fuzzy, but left leg, left arm, trunk. Something that you need to know about is this: if you're storing a lot of fat in your trunk, it's usually because your body's trying to protect you from the gut leak that you have. Fat is able to absorb things and hold them. Specifically, it can hold toxins, viruses, and bacteria inside of it. So if you have a lot of fat here, it's not your laziness, it's not your diet, just, I know, a shock, it's the fact you're overly toxic and your gut is leaking. So she came in and we did some tests. We found out, oh my gosh, your gut's physically leaking. I ran a blood panel. By the way, this panel right here that goes all the way down to antibodies against your thyroid, reverse T3 hormones. I can talk more about this if needed, but this panel right here, her insurance said was $800. And when she asked her doctor to run it, they said they won't cover it. And I said to her, well, Sarah, here's what I do, okay? I'll give you my price for this test. You guys know, as a physician, if I go to LabCorp, they do something that they call the professional courtesy. You guys know what that is? I don't have to pay full fees if I order my own labs. So when I said I'm going to buy labs for you, what it means is this: I will pay for your test on my account, in my name, with my credit card, so that you get it at a discount. Does that make sense? So instead of $800, it was like $200 and some change. We ran it and we went, oh gosh, Okay, you've got antibodies, your thyroid's definitely off, but look, your doctor's going to say you're fine because your meds are making it falsely look normal. But what's the real problem? Your liver's highly toxic, reverse T3 tells me toxicity of the liver, and you've got antibodies attacking your thyroid, you're autoimmune, which means you've got neurological issues, gut and toxins. You've got to do what? You got to fix all three. It only took us 4 or 5 months. Look at this. Okay, 4 or 5 months off all our meds, back to normal. This is our blood test we ran later. Look at this. A full 100% reset of what we found that the doctors missed. They don't test this because there's no drugs for this, but what if that was your cause? What if that's your problem? The only way to get it tested is to have somebody help you with the cost of it. Could you ask Blue Cross to do it? Maybe, but it'll cost you a fortune. $800 for a test, let's be honest. Who would just sign up right now and say, let's do it, Dr. Ernst? I know, so I'm gonna help you with the cost of your test. This is Barbara. Barbara came to my event. She goes, look, I don't want to lose weight, but my back and my sciatic and my blood pressure is killing me. Is her curve normal? No. Did we get it back to normal?
Yeah.
Close. Would you agree? Really close. What happened? She lost 30-something pounds completely off all her medications. Did I go after her heart? Did I give her something to fix her heart? No, we fixed her spine and her body healed by itself. Tammy Blessing, which I love her last name, right? She's a blessing. Look, can you guys, those of you who are in like front 2 rows, can you wave to this camera real quick? Because Tammy is watching live. She said, please give a wave out to her. That camera, by the way, is going to about maybe 200-300 people right now that are also watching this online, just so you know. Okay, Tammy comes in and she goes, look, I've been diagnosed as a diabetic. My insulin's through the roof. My sugars are through the roof. I'm massively in need of help. No pain in her back. And what do we see? Somebody tell me, is that a normal alignment for the spine or not? She's been going to a chiropractor for years. And I said, well, you're going to get adjusted, but your spine is not moving. Would you like me to show you how to move it? And here we are, and what happened? That's her in 90 days. And what happened? Guys, medically, A1C does not drop that fast. Medically. Her doctor said, this is not your test. Somehow the lab confused it. The blood must be somebody else. They reran it for her. And they said, oh, as it is, we have no explanation. We can't explain how it happens. How did it happen? She reconnected pancreatic nerves. The middle part of your back goes to your pancreas. Can you reset your health and lose weight at the same time? Yes, she lost 35 pounds without even trying. Do you see what I'm trying to talk to you about? Fix the underlying cores and your body will heal by itself. How do we know if we have nerve damage? Somebody tell me. Can we feel it? So how do we find out if we have it? What are the tests to do?
X-rays.
You're going to get special x-rays, and that thermal scanner will pinpoint where's the regions of interference. Okay, can you go to your medical doctor and ask them to do a neck x-ray and look for vagal nerve interference? They don't even know how to do it. Okay, so next, digestion. Okay, ready? We're going to go into your leaky gut stuff. Okay, this one's rather easy just because there's only one major thing that causes leaky gutness, and I'll talk to you about it. Okay, if you have these things, remember some of you said, I want to talk about headaches. I want to talk about like my thyroid. I want to talk about I'm tired all the time, I can't sleep, etc. The classic signs that your gut is leaking is the fact that you are starting to express some sort of health issue. Okay, if you're having a hard time sleeping, you can't remember things, your joints ache, your skin's reacting, you have been diagnosed with thyroid pressure, blood pressure, cholesterol issues, etc. Those are the outward expressions that you're leaking. You know why? 80% of your immune system has now been found to be right here inside of your gut. So if you create gut damage, you damage the immune system, and if your immune system's damaged, you can't heal. Does that make sense? Okay, what is the very thing that causes the damage to the intestine that makes us not absorb nutrition? So can you take all the right supplements, eat all the right food, and still not heal?
Yeah.
That means your gut's leaking. Have you ever done that? I took vitamin D like crazy, doc, and my numbers went down.
Yeah.
That means your gut's leaking. I take vitamin C all the time, and yet I still bruise every time somebody hits me. Your gut's leaking. I eat a vegan diet. In fact, I don't even eat. I fast, and I gained weight. Your gut's leaking. Does that make sense? What it does is it makes you less able to absorb the foods you eat, and then therefore your body freaks out, your immune system goes into overdrive, and you develop autoimmunity. All autoimmune disease, thyroid, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, etc., is from a gut that's leaking. If you want autoimmunity to go away, you clean up the gut and the autoimmunity disappears. I had autoimmunity, remember? My lungs were attacking themselves. You fix it, what does your body do? Regrow. All organs in your body have the capacity to regrow. Here's the culprit. This is the science, guys. They're saying this, okay? When you eat wheat, I don't care if you are gluten-free or not, celiac or not, every human being in the United States that eats bread products consumes a false, man-made protein called gluten. Not the original gluten that was around in the biblical days when the Bible talked about the disciples were actually eating wheat. That's what we should be eating. The wheat of today is not the wheat of the yesteryear. Every ounce of wheat in the United States has been modified by one company called Monsanto. They own the patent on the grains, and they know now that what we did was we accidentally activated that protein to become a viral particle. Now listen, viruses infect cells, yes? What gluten does when you swallow it is it goes into your stomach and it starts attacking the stomach lining cells. When it gets into the digestive system, it attacks it. The new science says the gluten lands on the cell gets irritated, and it secretes a protein called zonulin to spread itself apart, to invite fat and cholesterol to come in to grab the gluten. Did you hear me? It invites fat and cholesterol to come in. So why do we pile up with fat? We have a leaky gut that's trying to fix itself because you're eating wheat, but you keep eating wheat because you think it tastes good, and you go, well, how am I supposed to have a sandwich? If I can't eat wheat, what am I supposed to do? Trust me, I've talked to a lot of people about this, like Dr. Ernst. What am I supposed to eat? Everything I eat has wheat in it. Exactly. Okay? So watch. The science is now saying that what it does is it spreads the cells apart so that, like a virus, it gets into your blood. And then in your blood, it secretes autoimmunity to then attack and kill the body. Now, this was genetically engineered. This protein was created by man, accidentally. But then when we found out what it does, we went, oh, guess what? Tell people to eat more wheat. Because this is like 1970. Eat more wheat. What will happen? You'll get sick, but you'll think you're healthy. Oh, we can cash in now. I hate to burst the bubble, okay? I hate to. If you get rid of wheat from your diet, most people go like this. Well, now I don't have sinus problems anymore. I don't have any headaches. But you won't heal completely unless you do what? You got to address what it did to you. You have to undo the toxicity and clear the nerves, let the body heal by itself. How do we find out if your gut's leaking? When you stand on the scale that I have in my office, which, by the way, is a multi-expensive scale. It's like $10,000 for the scale. This is not just like stand on it tells us how much you weigh. It tells us all about the insides of your body. Okay? You stand on it. This is a patient. You came to an event. I get to see how much fat you have. He weighs 188 pounds but has almost 60 pounds of fat. So then I went, okay, where's your fat? Leg, arm. Whoa, 34. Do the math. 34 divided by 59 is how much? 58% of all of your fat on your body is where? Gut leak. I can do it in half a second. I can see it immediately. But how many of you have had a test like this? What if I give it to you at no cost and bundled into an experience that you guys have? Technically, Blue Cross Blue Shield says a body composition scan is about $50. Not that expensive, but if you want to have your insurance pay for it, I charge you $50. You come in, we run it, and then you're good. Or I can just say I'll do it for you as part of our testing process at no cost. Okay? Can we go through detoxing, cleansing, clean up the nerve, rebuild the gut, and let the body repair? Here we are a couple months later, now down to what? 154. Now down to 42 pounds, but what? 16. You see the difference? 34, 16. What is this? A sealed gut. Yes? No, because it's not something physically you can see. It's a cellular response at the microscopic level. Are the cells cellularly spread apart? It's not a hole. It's not something visible that you would see like a colonoscopy or an ultrasound. You'd have to look microscopically. I'll show you how we can physically test for it though. This is one way. Another way is to run a blood marker, a urine marker. Watch this. There's something called indican, which is an acid that kicks out when your gut's physically leaking. So I can send your urine to a lab and I can find out how much indican you have. Is indican high on the patient who I did this test for right here? Yeah, now watch this. We can check the bacterial levels of your intestines and see, oops, you've got an overgrowth of bacteria. Oops, you've got yeast in your gut. Now what do I know? I know the interference. I know what it's causing, so I can say we're going to remove, because remember, R, we remove it, we replace it, we reestablish the connection, and the body repairs. What do we need to remove? We need to remove the yeast, the bacteria, we've got to get the gluten out of your diet, and we need to reestablish, and if we retest this and we see it slide down, healing. Watch this though. This test, Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna says $1,400. Why is it so much? Somebody tell me. Why is a test that would show you if your gut's leaking so much? We want to prevent it. Why does an MRI cost $4,000 or $5,000 but an X-ray is like $120? It shows more detail. The more detail you find, the more the test costs. If I buy this test, it's like $300. If you buy the test, it's $1,300. It's insane because they try to prevent you from knowing. But if we do it, and I take you through it, I get to say, look at the new Dimmy Dad, right? Look at this. Guys, these results are stuff you don't see in other places. This is my hairdresser. She cuts my hair. She's been doing it for years. She finally says, you know what, Dr. Ernst, I think I'm ready. You've been talking to me every month for the last 2 years about you can help me. I think I'm going to actually do it. And literally, boom! This was me getting my hair cut in December with her. I'm like, can I grab a photo? I'm doing an event, and I show people. How much did she lose, guys? Off all meds. She was an autoimmune patient who has like hip issues and like, what do you call that, psoriasis and the rheumatoid stuff that attacks her joints. Completely restored. This is my office manager's mom. She came from Asheville. How far is that? How many hours drive, just out of curiosity? Some of you are going to say this, I'm in South Charlotte. Your office is in North Charlotte. It's on the other side of the world. 2.5 hours. Guys, I'm going to ask you a question. She drove 2.5 hours to come to my office for 30 minutes to get some in-office tests, and then I gave her the blood and urine. She went to LabCorp. They drew her blood. She collected the urine at her house. She came back the next week, another 2.5 hour drive. I went over the results with her. I said, here's what we need to do. She goes, well, my daughter lives in Charlotte. I'm going to stay here for a couple weeks. I want to spend some time and I want to knock this thing out. I worked with her for like 4 or 5 weeks. 4 or 5 weeks. Boom. And when I said, who are you doing this for? She goes, really, it's for my husband. So that, and I said, the next photo I want with him. That is a jacket, is it not? That is a jacket. They're rock stars, okay? When your gut's leaking, just so you know, it affects every square inch of your body. Now watch, here's where you guys are going to really get wowed by the science behind this. What nerve goes to every square inch of your body? The gut affects every square inch of your body. So the gut directly affects the vagus nerve. Have you guys heard of this new thing they're calling your gut brain? Can I show you the science behind this? No? Should I skip past it? Too bad, you're going to get it anyway. This is now medical, guys. They're saying that your spine controls your guts. The medical profession is going, okay, we know the intestines get damaged. We know the brain tries to send hormones and everything down there to fix it. The vagus nerve does the majority of this communication. So do a little bit of your low back and mid back. Vagus nerve. They also found out that your gut is making almost all of your hormones for feeling good. Who talked to me about depression? Somebody up to the front. That means your gut's leaking. Because your gut is supposed to secrete serotonin, which makes you feel elated, happy, healthy, whole. When it can't produce it, and it can't send that neurotransmitter up this way because the vagus nerve is blocked, and the brain says, I'm missing my hormones and I feel like my life is falling apart. The majority of your feel-good hormones are not made in your brain. They're made in your gut. And they travel up the vagus nerve to get to the brain. They travel up the spinal cord. Now watch, this is what's so wild about it. If your spine is bent, is the information traveling to the brain from your gut? No. So remember I said to you, you have to identify, then you have to remove, then you have to replace, then you have to reconnect. You need to reconnect your organs to your brain. The biggest way to do that is to clear the vagus nerve stress. When you look at the x-rays, we can detect vagal nerves, but you can also look at it from the front and see it directly when you open your mouth. This is the most accurate version of looking at your vagus nerve. Has anybody ever had an x-ray where they sat in front of the thing, they open real wide and they shine right through your mouth? I saw 2 heads nod, okay?
Yes.
That means you're going to somebody who's at least quasi-functional. They're trying to see if your vagus nerve is damaged. Somebody tell me, the space between this bone and this bone is even on left to right, yes?
Yes.
What's wrong over here? Is that not visible?
Yes.
Now you know what? I looked at that and I went, oh, this is why everything in your body has been affected. As a chiropractor, what I want to do is go, I want to get this thing to set here and set here. Now, do we have to physically go and do that? No, you can use technology, we have instrumentation, but what's the best way to do it though? To release it. You have to physically get it to reset. What you'll see sometimes is that a lot of you sit like this and you're like, I'm looking straight. And I go, oh, the vagus nerve. So what we do is When you guys hear the pop of an adjustment, all it is it's the joint moving and air flowing back in. But so many of you are so deathly afraid. Yet watch, you have high blood pressure because of this, and you're taking a medication that's literally shredding your kidneys to pieces, and you're okay with that. But you won't let me do a real quick little. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. Can we do it with an instrument to make it less painful? Yes, but it needs to be reset. Would you agree? Yeah. Now watch what medicine is saying. Oh, we know this. We know the vagus nerve can make you lose weight. We know the vagus nerve talks to your organs. There is a medical doctor in New York who's becoming quite famous for actually publishing an article saying the vagus nerve is what stops you from losing weight. It carries signals to and from the brain to the digestive system. Any interference will negatively affect your digestive system and make you have weight problems. So what did her team do? They went, we're doctors, let's see if we can zap it. Watch. They started taking people who were having difficulty losing weight, opened the back of their skull, put implants onto the vagus nerve electrically, with little remotes, went zap, 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 zzz, 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 like they're trying to jumpstart it. And they went, holy cow, 40 to 50% more weight loss when we make the vagus nerve stimulated. Anybody know how much it costs to get a vagal nerve implant? Yeah. But now guess what? They're saying this. It's a lot better than cutting half your stomach out or putting a sleeve and tightening it. Weight loss surgeries are a big deal today. This is going to be the new weight loss surgery. Now, what does it say right here? Most insurance companies, along with Medicaid and Medicare and Medicaid, do not unless what? It's because the research right now, the FDA says the only way we'll pay for it is if you have an epileptic seizure, because we also know if you burn or you zap the nerve, the seizures stop. So what does this tell you? This is what's causing the interference. If you can naturally reset your joints, you will stimulate because it's blocked. Does that make sense to you guys? You open it up. I promise you, it doesn't hurt. You're going to hear it, but it doesn't hurt. You'll hear the, and then you'll go like this. Oh my God, like where's this coming from? I feel like I'm floating. Oh, whoa. I've seen pressures drop to normal in 1 day. Blood pressure to normal. I've seen diabetes go away in 90 days. That is the most important, and a lot of chiropractors don't know how to do adjustments on it. And a lot of patients are like, I'm too scared to even have you do it.
Oh, yes.
Okay? But there's ways to get it reset. Now, the last one. Everybody ready? So toxicity could be a major cause. Here's what we know about toxins, just so you guys know. They're fat soluble, so the more toxic you are, the more fat you have. But then you go to the gym and you try to force it off, or you diet, and you become thinner, right? Can you lose 10 or 15 pounds by changing your diet? Yes, okay? If you stop eating corn, dairy, rice, wheat, soy, and oats, and you start eating fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and clean meats, you'll lose on average 10 pounds. But did you detox by changing your diet? So the thinner you is now by volume actually more toxic. So what does your body in its infinite wisdom do? It makes you fat again. You see it. This is what's known as the rebound effect. Why people go, I lost 10, I gained 10, I lost 10, I gained 10, I lost 10, I gained 10. Now I have a thyroid problem. Now I'm rough. Okay, so instead, we identify the toxins. I'll show you how to do it. You get them out of you, not by cleansing. Okay, cleansing means this. Make an organ secrete something faster than it normally is. Make your bowels move quicker than they are. That's a cleanse. Make your kidneys increase their urinary output. That's a cleanse. A detox means to identify what is the actual toxin on the cell. Remember I said to you they get stuck to the membranes like this, and that membrane gets damaged, and then the toxins on the inside can't come out, so the cell becomes sick and it turns into a precancerous cell, etc. You have to know what you're going after. Detoxing means identify the toxin and remove that particular toxin. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. What do you think the most toxic thing in your body is that's preventing you from healing?
Medication.
Yes. Say it again louder. That was brilliant. Can you say it again?
Medication.
Number one toxin is the medications you are taking to try to get well. Because if you just down a whole bottle right now, what would happen? Now some people say, well, my diet is toxic. Okay, some of you have been eating toxic diet for 30 years and you're still here. If you take a whole bottle today, you're not going to be here tonight. Does that make sense? Okay, the second most toxic thing on the planet are pesticides and herbicides that are sprayed onto your foods that you do eat. Third most toxic are heavy metals. So mercury, lead, cadmium, arsenic, all this kind of stuff, okay? What's neat about this is we have ways of detecting, oh, this is me showing you that medications are more toxic. You know the unique thing about this? For a while, wasn't the government saying like, oh, we gotta get rid of guns, we gotta get rid of heroin, cocaine, and crack, and all this stuff, and it kills so many people. Yeah, more people die from prescription drug overdoses than they do from everything else. By the way, heroin, cocaine, crack, and marijuana are like 4,000. Okay, so we have drug enforcement agencies trying to make it illegal. What should be illegal is your doctor writing you a prescription, in my opinion. That should physically be, they should go to jail for saying, take this drug, it's going to make you better. It's a lie, number one, and it's harming you, number two. It violates Hippocratic Oath, which means they should lose their license, in my opinion. Do no harm, Hippocratic Oath. Okay, so be careful. If you want to really focus on getting rid of your dietary toxins, easy acronym, right? Stop eating crap. Carbonated beverages, refined sugars, artificial foods, and anything that's boxed or processed. All of this stuff is loaded with chemicals, dyes, pesticides, herbicides, because the food industry is in the same category as the pharmaceutical industry. I hate to say it, you guys know a lot of the food companies are actually owned by the pharmaceutical companies. Did you know that? Lots of them. Right? So this is my version of a highly toxic lunch and dinner that a lot of us are eating, because this is what? Wheat, which means it has gluten, and it's more than likely sprayed with pesticides and herbicides. That is more than likely not organic, so therefore it's sprayed. And then what was that piece of whatever it is cooked in? Somebody tell me. Oil. What kind of oil? Vegetable oil, which is causing damage to this, which makes us sick, right? Then we have stuff like this that all of you guys have in your pantries, trust me. I used to do these things called pantry makeovers. When I was brand new in practice and I did a lot of patients, I'd be like, hey, would you mind if I come to your house? Like, we'll literally go through your pantry together. Just get 6 trash bags and throw it all away. And then I used to give away, I would do $200, $300 gift certificates, and I would say, let's go shopping. And we would record this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to do it now, but guess what? You can do your own pantry makeover. Get rid of it. Anybody know what this is? Looks like ice cream, doesn't it? Kind of. Okay, deep breath. This is the food industry's method of taking the leftover bits and pieces, bones, cartilage, joints, tissues, skin, etc. They grind it down into a paste. They add ammonia to it, which is why it's pink, to sterilize it all. Then they will bleach it, and that becomes chicken nuggets, lunch meats, anything that's processed that's been cleanly sliced. Be really careful about what you guys eat. I don't know about the last time I looked at a real chicken breast, it's not a perfect circle. That's how they make it perfectly circular. And they grind the bits and pieces into it. This is from a documentary where when the fast food industry got busted for chicken nuggets not having all chicken, it was skin and bone and cartilage and all that stuff. Because of this documentary, this stuff is now fully illegal in the US in fast foods, but it's totally okay if it's sold as a sliced lunch meat still. Okay? If you've got a lot of belly fat, it is because it is protecting you from the toxins that you accumulate as you get older. It is protection. Watch out for burning off the protection. Watch out for cool sculpting the protection. Watch out for liposuctioning the protection. You take the protective layer away, your body will do what? It'll put it back. And then it'll put it back with a vengeance. And then be careful. You can make all of this go away literally in weeks to months if you focus on identifying toxins. Watch, just to show you. Monsanto is the ones that came up with the pesticide and herbicide, and they modified the wheat. They created the genetically modified gluten protein to allow them to spray their food product onto food without killing it. So they had to modify the food so the food wouldn't die in their chemical. Okay, so then they said, oh, let's make it grow only in the presence of our chemical as well. So therefore the farmers must buy our product. Not only can it not grow without it, but it has to have it sprayed on it to grow. So we are using more and more and more and more and more. They're doing research right now and saying this. It is a direct one-to-one correlation between the amount of glyphosate used and the incidences of everything. Liver cancer follows it exactly 100% correlation between the more we use. Autism, exactly. You guys see the trends? Look at the amount of times people go to the hospitals in the United States. As glyphosate improves and we use more of it, we go to the hospital more. The amount of people dying from dementia is directly correlated. Diabetes, directly correlated. Celiac disease, of course it's correlated. We have engineered disease today. We know that if we eat a product that is sprayed with pesticides and herbicides and it has weed in it, your gut will leak and you will get sick. We know it. And then no one's talking about it. This is why it's not just vogue to eat organic anymore now. And I know some people are like, oh, it's so expensive. There's no way I can eat organic. I've done the analysis. It's like 10 cents more sometimes per pound. It's not that bad today. It used to be. Now people are waking up. The costs are coming down. You guys can do this, but you have to pay attention. There is a test that you can do to find out how much glyphosate is actually stuck to your cells. It's called urinary melanoaldehyde. You pee in a little vial, it turns to a red blood color if you have glyphosate in your body. Guess what happens when I run this test on every single human being that's coming to my clinic? Blood red. Okay? If you want to do it, we can, but I'm telling you, I do it later on because all of you are going to fail it to begin with. The problem is you don't know that you have it inside of you and it's choking the life out of your cells. Do we need to test for this stuff? I called LabCorp and I asked them, hey, if I want melanoaldehyde to be added to a urine test, what are we talking here? And they went, we don't even have that. It's not an option. We can't test for it. Yet it's 50 times more accurate than getting blood tests to determine your toxicity levels. Now today, they bundle it into the functional urine panels. Remember I showed you the ones that shows you, is your gut leaking, etc.? We can run them and find out, do you have it? Methylhypopurate is the precursor for melanoaldehyde. I'm not trying to go too sciencey on you. But if you have a lot of methylhypopurate in your urine, then you have a lot of urinary melanoaldehyde. So I run that same test that looks at your gut, and it also tells me your detox pathways, and we can see, whoops, way too many toxins. Oh, phase 1, phase 2 detox process is also blocked, and you're not methylating. I'm using fancy terms that you may or may not know about, but you need to learn about this stuff. If you're not methylating, you can't tag toxins for excretion. If you don't tag them for excretion, what happens? They circulate, and they increase in volume, and you'll get sick, and then your doctors will say, we have no idea what's going on. Identify the toxins and remove them. It's easy. Once I know what it is, I can say, okay, here's how we get glyphosate out. Here's how we get this out. Sometimes it's supplements, sometimes you have to chelate it, sometimes you have to physically get your blood drained out of you, like they used to do back in George Washington's days. Sometimes you have to actually donate your blood to make your blood look better. I need to find out what you need, because then I can point you in the direction. I wish I could just look at you and say, you know what, it looks like you need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm good, but I'm not that good. What I'm good at is reading the numbers. God gifted me with an encyclopedia brain, and I know how to help you, but I need to know if you want me to take a look at it and see what's going on. Can we run blood work and look at stuff? Of course. The only difference is I look for markers, most doctors don't. Who knows what C-reactive protein is? Yeah, it looks for inflammation. What about homocysteine? Also inflammation. The difference is that's liver inflammation. How it affects your heart, that's total body inflammation. Most doctors never run this guy. We look for reverse T3 because it tells me, is your liver toxic affecting your thyroid? 90% of thyroid is not thyroid, it's your liver and your intestines, and the nerve going to the thyroid. So if we fix the nerve, thyroid repairs. If we clean the liver and the gallbladder out, you'll get off Synthroid, levothyroxine, whatever. 6-8 months on the average, just so you know. Last testimonial, and then are you okay if I walk you through how I can help you guys with testing prices and stuff like that? Is that okay? This is a fun one. Okay, I hope the volume's higher.
Hi, I'm Keith Linscomb. This is my wife Karen. We've been working with Dr. Ernst for about 4 months now. From my perspective, in the beginning, I heard from head to toe daily. I did my regular training physician and was on high blood pressure medication and borderline diabetic, and all they wanted to do basically was give me medications. I knew there had to be a better way.
Lots of Advil and Motrin, and no reason as to why we were experiencing joint pain and aches and pains all over the place, just medications. So we decided to take the road less traveled instead of going the conventional way of medicating and try Dr. Ernst's program. And here we are 4 months later, and we are essentially pain-free. Between the both of us, we have lost a total of 55 or 60 pounds in the interim as well.
Absolutely. Feel better, have better energy, more energy than I've had in 20 years.
Yes. We're both very skeptical, me more so than Keith. Dr. Ernst's program has really turned that around for me, because we always felt like the proof would be in how we would feel later. And there's so many programs out there that make all these promises, and Dr. Ernst had things to say that informed us, and they were things that we'd never heard before. So we would highly recommend the program to anybody considering it. Just keep an open mind.
It's definitely worth going down the road less travel.
So I want to explain this program that everybody keeps talking about on the news, okay? What we do is this. If you've never been tested for the cause of your health condition, we'll run a full comprehensive exam looking at function, not symptoms. The way we do that is we do a metabolic profile to find out, is your gut leaking, how much bacteria do you have, is there a fungus, a parasite, etc. And on that panel, we're also running things like your inflammatory scores and your toxicities. It's a urine test that you have to collect at your house. You have to freeze it, and you send it to our lab. It has to be the first morning void. So unless you want to get up at like 5 in the morning and drive all the way to my office to go to the bathroom in my office, it's easy. We give you a box, you take the little cup, you pee into it, you screw the lid onto it, you freeze it, you take it to FedEx, and I've paid automatically overnight shipping for you guys. You just give it to them, boom. It takes about 2 weeks for those results to come back. We then, in the interim, say, I want you to go to the local lab. You guys know about LabCorp? They're everywhere. It's hundreds of them. I have a custom panel that I created with LabCorp. I sat down with them and I said, I want this for me. This is my test. And I want you to tell me how much it costs. And they went, it's like $250, Dr. Ernst. So I ran it on myself and I said, I want you to save that as my test, my profile. Call it the Dr. Ernst test. And they went, sure. I said, I'm going to run it every year on myself. The only difference is I've run it like 38,000 times on myself, but with your name attached to it. Does that make sense? So it looks at things like your sugars, your thyroid, full panel. We're talking like multi-$100 panel. Hormones that most doctors don't look for. Metals that are toxic. We're checking your functions, your enzymes, etc. And then we do the neurological testing in my office. Okay, so you have to come to my office. We run the scans, the x-rays, etc. We send you for blood work. We give you a urine test. It takes 2 weeks for the results to come back. And then from that point, I sit down with you and I say, okay, here's what's going on. We found this and this and this and this and this. Okay? Now, deep breath. We also have to do 2 more things, 2 more visits, because I want to show you that what we do is so powerful that you get a response, you get a result, and you're going to see it so you can say, oh my God, I do see what you're talking about. So I have what's called our experiences. Okay, there's 3 layers to an experience. 3 days, and 3 is a huge biblical number too, isn't it? So we have day number 1, day number 2, day number 3. And I'm going to show you what's involved in them based upon the levels you're going to go at. Now, deep breath real quick. These are the fees that the average insurance company would say you would have to pay if you were to come into my office on Monday and say, Dr. Ernst, I was at your event. I want you to do entry-level tests. I want an x-ray. I want the in-office composition scan to see if your gut's leaking. Remember the 50% in the bowels? And I want to pee in that little bottle and see if I have lots of toxins. Okay? Retail, you walk in on Monday, it's $497. Will your insurance cover these 3 tests? No. And then what will you have to pay? If you ask us to file it through your insurance company, you have to pay the full fee because the insurance dictates the cost, even if they don't cover it, which is ridiculous if you ask me. Now, what if you say, well, I'd like to go a little deeper. I want you to test my blood. I want to see my thyroid. I want to see my other stuff. It's now $897. The big panel, just because it costs so much, right? It brings up to about 16 and some change. Retail, okay? Here's what I'm willing to do if you guys want to do this. These are my costs for running these tests, okay? It's a $1,000 drop. I can get all of this done for you for $697. How it works is I call the lab, I put your information in, they take my credit card and go swoosh, and they say, okay, paid in full. I need you to fill out some paperwork because I need your information because I have to put your stuff onto it. And all I ask in return is that you reimburse the expense so I'm not in the negative for you guys coming in. Here's why. If all of you came in the next 2 weeks, my business would be shut down. Because that's 697, 697, physically don't have that much. Wish I did. I will in the future, but right now I don't. But here's what I want to do to give it back to you. Okay? Everybody, we gotta look real quick. You'll pay the 697, 497, 297. You'll go get the labs done and everything. When the results come back, we'll go over them, no cost. I'll give you your therapy, chiropractic release if you need it. I'll give you a detox. I'll tell you, hey, do this. You don't have to go buy stuff to detox. There's easy ways to engage a detox. We'll walk you through some gut rebuilds if you need it. And I'm going to say, can you do this for me for like a week? Okay, cut this, do this, eat this, take this, whatever. And then I'm going to retest you and see how you react. We run the composition scans. We see how much weight you lost in 4 or 5 days. Oh, you lost 7 pounds in a week. You know what most people tell me? Yeah, how do I start? Like, what do I need to do next? Okay, third visit, you're now 3 visits in. You'll sit one-on-one with me for up to a half hour to an hour so we can say, okay, here's how you responded. Here's what's happening. Here's what you need to do. Here's how long I think it's going to take. Here's what the cost is going to look like. Your insurance might help you with therapy, but they never help with testing. Isn't that wild? They might say, well, we'll give you 30, 40, 60, 80, 20%, whatever, towards your cost for repair, but the actual testing is not covered. So this visit is for me to then say, okay, you came in, you had this, you did this, you're now here. We cleaned this, you responded, whatever. It's 3 days for me to figure it all out. Now, here's the way I give it back to you. On this visit, if you say, Dr. Ernst, my God, this is incredible, nobody's ever shown me this, you're saying it's going to take this long, this is what I need to do, I'd like to become a patient of yours, I'd like to coach with you, I'll go, okay, I'm giving you all your money back by applying a credit to the cost of your care. So I paid for your test, you pay up front to cover the expenses that we have for it, and then when we figure out what's going on, if I can help you, then I'll go like this. Okay, you spent $697. The cost of your care, according to your insurance, is this. We're going to automatically reduce it by $697. Now you have everything included. Does that make sense? It's the way I can give back to you up front to say, will you at least let me take a look? You have nothing to lose. Will you let me take a look and see if I can point you in the right direction? The only difference is you're going to have to make a decision if you want to do that. Hey, I didn't come here going, I need all of you to come into my office. Technically, we don't. Right now, we're actually packed. But yet, I know that many of you are like, oh, God, I really would like to do this. Okay? So I want to just repeat real quick. First visit, 30 minutes on the average. You need to grab some paperwork today, fill it out as much as you can, in as much detail. It's about 11 pages. I ask a lot of questions because I need to know a lot about you. I'd recommend you do it today. And you can either scan it or email it or fax it to my office. And I ask, hopefully you do it by Monday, even if you don't have an appointment until Wednesday of the next week. The sooner you get it to me, the faster I can order your tests, which means you could potentially go to the lab by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week and we can start this ball running. When you come into the office, we'll do all the in-office testing, and it's included in your experience. You're going to meet mostly with my staff on first visit. Okay, I just want to be clear. A lot of people that come to my clinic are like, why didn't I talk to Dr. Ernst on the first visit? I don't know enough yet about you. I need my staff to do all the tests. I need you to go to the lab. I need you to do your urine. Then, when everything's back, there's the 30 minutes one-on-one with me to go over your results and do whatever therapy you need and not have an additional cost for your therapies. So whatever we need to do for you on your second visit is automatically included. And then we're going to retest you. If we find vagal nerve compression, we're going to release it, we're going to re-x-ray it, no additional cost. If you need to do a detox, I'll show you how to do it, no cost, etc. On the third visit, up to an hour for us to compare before and after, go over protocols, show you how you can maximize your discounts on costs between either your insurance or in-office programs, and then I give you your money back towards the cost of your care. Is that clear? A lot of people ask, what the heck and why would you do that? It's how I feel I should bless you guys because of what God's done in my life. And I'm going to ask you to just say, yes, I'd like to do that. Real easy. Open your guys' packets real quick. For those of you who are saying, okay, I'd like to do this, you're going to take out this sheet here. You guys see it? On the back, it has a breakdown of the different categories. I will put this back up for a moment so you can see what's included in them. The first layer, original cost, $497, is brought down to $297. In-office exams only, basics for me to see what's going on, no blood, no urine. Some of you will say, I can't do this, I just can't, but that I can do. Start somewhere, okay? If you're going, whoo, I'd like to save $1,000 and get everything, then you do, you get everything. Blood, urine, all the testing in the office. All of these get 3 days in the clinic to review. This one here is just the blood work only. Blood and urine, no blood or urine. Everybody good with this? So when you flip it around, check the one you want, sign and date the bottom so you know and acknowledge that we are not charging you what it says. Write the price, please. And then at the top, see how it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, etc.? Really important. I want you to circle what would work for you as your best time. I would love to come in Tuesday at 4 o'clock. That's perfect for me. I don't know that we have it because my team controls my schedule, but try to guide them. They'll pull Tuesday up and they'll say, well, we can't do 4, but we can do 4:30. Is that okay? And if you say yes, then they're going to book you for your first visit. If you go, well, I can't do that. I need to do Friday. Let them find a time for you, okay? We brought about my next 2 to 3 weeks max of my schedule. We'll figure it out, all right? All I need you to do, though, is circle 2. The top one, put a star next to. I really want that. The alternative one, put a circle next to. Does that make sense? Basic information. What you do need to do, though, is this. You need to take this over there to chat with my staff so we can grab your information, pre-schedule your appointment, give you the paperwork, and again, most importantly, if I can try to reiterate this, fill it out today. Fax it back today. If you don't have a fax machine, the hotel has one. They'll do it for you. Take 10 minutes in the lobby, fill it out. If you have a scanner, which most people do, right? You can scan it, and then you can email it straight to us. If you don't have a scanner, then spend some time here and let the hotel send it for you, okay? We need the paperwork before we can order your labs. One other little caveat, because the lab is going to make sure that you are who you are, they're going to ask for your ID. Your ID and the address and the name must match what you put on our paperwork, because that's how we order your labs. So I know a lot of us today don't like to go to the DMV. My address and my driver's license is like 11 years old. I do not live at that house anymore. How many of you have that? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I've learned. A lot of us do this. You must, even though you don't live there, put the address that is on your driver's license as your current address. We'll update it later because we have to have them match. Is everybody clear with that? Paperwork first. Please fill it out over the weekend. They'll tell you the deadlines for when paperwork is due back. All you have to do is pick your times, choose the appointments, and I would love to meet with you if you want me to meet with you. Is everybody clear on that? Okay, you don't have to do this. It's your choice if you want to. I'm going to leave this up in case you guys want to look through the different things. And real quick, just to show you, we are sitting in this hotel here. My office is apparently a 6-minute walk if you go down the street and turn. I am in the complex just immediately behind this. So if you were able to find here, you can find us. It's easy, okay? Now, last thing, I see some people are getting in line real quick. I have to go down to WBT. My radio show is today at 3 o'clock. I can maybe stay for like 5 minutes because I know what happens. Some people come up and they go, Dr. Ernst, just real quick, I want to do this, but I have a question. Okay, I'll try to answer it, but I have to leave soon so I can get down there for my radio show. Is everybody okay with this? You guys learned a lot? Yeah. Was it informative? Yeah. So, take home message, you remember. You can heal yourself if you change what? The way we think about our health, and then you have to identify your interference. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you had a great time today.